Today we're checking out the Vypyr Pro amplifier from Peavey. This is a 100-watt modeling amplifier that offers incredible versatility. There are more than 100 different effects and amplifiers on board. You have tons of real-time control. There's an optional computer editor that you can download for free. And there's also an optional foot controller, the Vypyr Pro, that gives you total control over everything that's happening inside the amplifier. One of the amazing things about the Vypyr Pro is that it's totally self-contained. Really all you need is a guitar, in this case I'm playing a PRS Custom 24, a cable, and the amplifier, and you've got everything else that you need right here inside this enclosure. We've got a 1x12-inch design. It's using a custom voice speaker. And the way this is set up is it's a modeling amplifier, but it uses a trans-tube analog preamplifier, so you're getting 4 different stages of gain there that really simulates the sound of a real tube. The Vypyr Pro uses a unique modeling architecture. There are 2 DSP processors inside the amplifier, and what we have is 4 modeling bays, and you can load an effect or an amplifier into any of those bays and use them in parallel or as a monster signal path. This lets you create complex layered tones that are much bigger than just using a single amplifier model. From the front panel, we have control over all the different parameters. We have basic amplifier controls here. We've got a pre-gain, a post-volume, and then bass, middle, and treble controls. We also have a master volume control, so that post volume is really used for balancing the level of the different presets. Speaking of presets, we have room for more than 500 presets here. They're arranged into 126 banks of 4. You have delay and reverb effects available at all times, and those can be accessed by hitting the shift key, at which point these 5 controls then become parameter controls for the delay and the reverb. We have tap tempo for the delay, and there's also a foot switchable boost function. On the back panel, we have a microphone emulated output that can be routed straight to a live sound console or into an interface for recording. Speaking of recording, the Vypyr Pro also features a USB port that can be used for direct connection to a computer. Rounding out the feature set, we have an 1/8-inch auxiliary input for an MP3 or a CD player. Creating a preset inside the Vypyr Pro is very simple. We use the 4 model bays to load in effects and amplifiers. Simply turn the knob to select the model that you want and press it to load that model. Make your settings using the parameter controls. We can set the tones, the gains, and the volume levels here. Hit the shift control to set up our delay and our reverb. And then we can load additional models, whether effects or additional amplifiers, by simply moving to another slot, turning the knob, and pressing to load. We can also access advanced parameters by pressing the button here. We can tap in the tempo for our delay, and when we're finished, we can store that preset into one of the 126 banks, each containing 4 presets, right inside the Vypyr Pro. Now, you can control the Vypyr Pro using the front panel. You can also access it via MIDI. There's a MIDI port on the back, and there's also a MIDI port on the Vypyr Pro foot pedal. This allows you to interface with external MIDI gear or to use a MIDI system to control your Vypyr Pro. You're also going to want to add the optional Vypyr Pro foot pedal to your system. You have total control in real time over the features of the amplifier. You can turn models on and off, select presets, and control other functions as well. Let's take a quick tour. We have 2 foot pedal controllers. By default, the one on the left is a volume control, and the one on the right is a wah control. But either one can be assigned to any other parameter that you like. Across the bottom, we select presets. We can bank up and down through the different presets, and select presets by simply stepping on the 1 through 4 switches. In the middle row, we can turn models on and off. We can also engage the reverb and the delay. Across the top, we can engage our boost function. We can also tap in the tempo for the delay. Or if you hold this button, we'll switch to the tuner. And at the far right, we have controls for the onboard looper. Now, you can't access the looper in any other way besides using the Vypyr, so you're going to want to have this if you're working with loops. Let me show you how the Vypyr Pro and the Vypyr Pro work in action. We'll begin with the first preset, A1, which is Legend. We'll bring the volume up using our volume pedal. We can step on the wah. We can turn off the delay, turn off the reverb, bring the delay back in. So we have lots of real-time control over our amp and effect chain using the Vypyr Pro. If we move to another preset, say number 2 here, that has 2 different models loaded, we can turn off the phaser. Now some presets have multiple amps loaded up in parallel. For example, heavy hand. In this case, we have 4 different amplifiers. Let's turn those off so we can hear them individually. No amplifiers. The 6534, the Uber, the 3120, and the Diesel. When we combine those 4 amplifiers together, we get a massive tone. In addition to amplifier and effects models, the Vypyr Pro also features instrument models. So we can load up acoustic guitars, we can load up 12-string guitars, or even a 7-string guitar. Let me demonstrate that for you. We'll switch over here to our bank. To show you the difference, I'll turn off the 7-string model. Now, of course, we also have all our other effects available no matter what models we have loaded up. So we still have wah here. While it's very easy to create presets using the front panel of the Vypyr Pro, it's even easier when you use the optional computer editor. Now, this is a free download from Mac or PC. Let's take a quick tour of how it works. We'll begin with the main screen of the editor, which shows us our 4 modeling bays. We can load anything we want into those. We can load instruments, and here we have a choice of resonator guitar, sitar, electric violin, synthesizer. If we scroll up, we'll see doubler, recoil, decoil, bass, baritone, 7-string, 12-string, classical acoustic, fat acoustic. So you have a wide variety of things, and you can drag those straight into one of the bays. And if we decide we don't want that particular model, we can clear it out of the slot. Close up our instruments. We have stomp boxes. Next up, we have amplifiers, and we can have up to 4 amplifiers loaded simultaneously. They'll operate in parallel to give us massive tones. So you can drag those in, create a composite tone. We also have onboard effects that we can select from. So let's create a quick preset. We'll select a 7-string guitar, so it will model that for us. We'll run that through a phase shifter, and then we'll set up an amplifier here. We'll choose an ecstasy. Put that in, and in our final slot, we'll put in a rotary speaker effect. We can then look at some of the other parameters. We can open this up here. We can see our utility set up here. On our input page, we can turn the bright switch on and off. This is where our noise gate lives, so if we're working on a high gain preset, we can use this to keep things quiet. Switching to our output page, this is where we set up our boost. We have control over the amount of the boost, as well as boost on and off. We can set up the looper level in relation to the dry signal, presence, resonance, and so on. We also have a page that gives us access to our reverb and delay parameters. So we can check a reverb type. We'll choose a spring reverb. In that case, we have room size and level available to us. In our delay type, we can choose a modulated delay, set it up to a quarter note. We can shift the delay time, level control, feedback, and so on. Once we've set all our parameters where we want them for our effects, for our amplifier, for our processing, we can save all of those settings as a single preset. You do that up here in the File menu, Save Preset, and you can load that preset to the amplifier as well. Then we can move on to the next preset in the bank. We can create that, load in whatever we like, move on to the next bank, and again, we have 126 different banks with 4 different presets, so we have more than 500 presets available to use. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Vypyr Pro amplifier and the Sanpera Pro foot pedal. It's an incredible system that encompasses all of your effects, even instruments, along with amplifiers, direct recording options, direct outputs for feeding into a PA system. It's a 100-watt amplifier, and it also features a power soak so you can turn it down to whisper volume levels without affecting the tone or the dynamics. To wrap up, I'll play out using a variety of different presets on the Vypyr Pro so you can hear the wide range of tones this versatile amplifier can create. If you have questions on this or any other Peavey products, give your Sweetwater sales engineer a call.